I'm glad you brought up campaign finance reform because I thought about this issue a lot, and Citizens United, which was a Supreme Court decision, which was kind of changed this whole game. I think it was in 2010. So it's been almost a decade now that we've been living with this. I've always thought of this as being more of a the Citizens United decision. The dark money benefits more the conservative platform and benefits more the conservatives, but I think big money Democrats as well are really enriched themselves with this dark money. So it kind of hits both sides of the political spectrum. But people like yourselves who are really citizens first, you're not a career politician, you're not a person who's got a donor network.
Yeah.
You decided to do this for the good of the district and for the contribution you can make and you want to make. So does something like Citizens United hurt the ability of an average citizen? I think you answered it already, but how does it hurt the average citizens being able to participate in this process?
Well, by not being able to, run as many ads, by everything. But in general, yes. I mean, I have the same problem with Democrats, with big companies being in the pockets of Democrats. So fire is an excellent issue for that. Last year in June, there was a bill in the Senate that was brought up in the Senate, and it would have forced insurance companies to pay out 100% of the insured value after a fire, for example. Right now, they only have to pay out 25%. There are some insurance companies that pay out the full amount. Great if you happen to have that insurance. But there's also insurances that just give you 25%. And then for the rest of it, you need to bring receipts. So when you go home, better go home and take photos of all the white T-shirts you have so that you can say, well, they were 5 years old and it probably cost me $50 to replace them. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but that's the truth. Yeah. And in this Democratic-controlled Senate, that bill died in committee. And then we had the car fire up in Shasta, and we had the campfire down here. And, our people, my party, Democrats, didn't stand up for what the people really needed. And we also, fire brings up another thing. Insurances are being dropped left and right in the rural counties. I'm lucky enough, I'm close enough to a fire hydrant, so I don't fear that much that my insurance gets dropped. But we need to come up with a plan to insure the people that have a house there, because they can't even afford to move, because once your fire insurance gets dropped, you don't get, you can't sell the house anymore.
Well, let me be clear. Let me make sure I can understand what you're saying. What you're saying is that the legislators aren't standing up for what makes sense for the constituents, because they're really looking more out for the insurance companies and their interests rather than consumers. Is that fair to say that you believe that's true?
Well, that was the only way I could read that that bill died in committee. So yes.